Guys, James here today and welcome back to another Sims 4 house building video. Today we are doing a tiny home. Once again, this is the 64 tile house. So this is tier 2 of tiny homes. It is actually the tiny home because there's tiny home, micro home, and small home or small house. This is the tiny home, so the middle tier. And I thought we'd do an A-frame because I've seen there's a lot of tiny homes that are in this style. We've built an A-frame here before on the channel and had a lot of fun doing it then. And I've seen a couple as well that looked really, really nice. So I thought I'd give it a go once more, doing a 64 tile home. So you can see we've already used all our tiles, but we're going to use a few tricks to get a little bit extra space. So I guess we are going to be, you know, bending the rules a little bit, but it all works. So it's fine. There's no need to worry. Yeah, so I was trying to figure out what style I wanted this house to be. Like, you could do a pretty ultra modern looking A-frame. There are some super modern looking ones, but the problem with that is we can't really do a modern one justice, I don't think, because for that, you really need the whole front wall to be glass, and we'd need like angled windows like to go on the front wall. We don't have triangular windows, so I figured let's go for a more traditional looking one. Although on the side here, we're going to have these really nice big glass sloping windows. So what we're going to do, we're just going to use a couple of archways and open it up and basically create our own little bay window areas that we can totally use. I was going to pop them out, then I thought they looked dumb, so I left it like that. And that's a completely usable space for our Sims. I just put a glass roof in there. That's all it is. So it acts as a window, but it also acts as more space that doesn't technically count as tiles because we didn't put any tiles down there. So that's good. And then we're also going to build a loft for the bed, because that is something that is so common in tiny homes, is having a loft, like an upper level that's just above everything else that is, you know, for a bed or whatever. So that's what we're doing in this build as well. And here I was trying to figure out how to do it, well, the best way to do it, and ignore the hole in the floor there. That's just, I need to reload the lot, which I do in a minute. But yeah, I was trying to figure out the best way I wanted to do this, because obviously we can't use the last tile next to the roof there. So I was like, what if I do a half wall? Then I couldn't figure out how to cover the weird triangular gap. But I don't know why. I mean, it's staring me in the face the entire time. All I had to do is a couple more roof segments. And I've done this before whenever we do roof stuff like this. If you just add two smaller roofs that are only one tile thick, it will obviously build a wall for the roof. So I do that eventually. I don't actually know if that makes it into the recording or not, because I spent a while trying to figure it out. I don't know if I actually recorded it in the end. And then, yeah, so then I was like, maybe if I use these and do all that. Now, also, this home is pretty spacious. I didn't really go out of my way to squish stuff in this one, mainly because I guess we technically have extra tiles up top here, so we're technically just above a tier 2. Although, well, technically we're not, because technically we are a tier 2. And I'm going to stop saying technically, because I've said that a lot. But yeah, because we have the extra amount of space, I didn't really feel the need to have to cram stuff in. And like I said in the last tier 2 house that we did, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make the next one a little bit more open, a little bit more, pretty much all in one level. And this house is all in one level. The 64 tiles are all downstairs. It's basically just a big rectangle. Then the loft is the additional space. So that's why we had a bit more fun with this. And it is on the second floor, but it is like extra room that doesn't really count. But it also gives us a lot of usable space. We get a full double bed up here. This is essentially the double bedroom. It's all up here in the loft. And I'm really excited for it because it's out of the way. And we also add in like a little office area upstairs too, which you'll see a little bit later on. I do a lot of playing around here because you can see the problem. There's a couple of problems. Well, because we're using like a hacky method to do this loft. It's not really a hacky method, but it's, you know, a non-standard way to do it. The lighting in the game is a bit strange because it considers the upstairs where the bed is. It considers that outside, technically, in the game's eye. Oh, I said technically again. Damn it. It considers it outside, so it gives it outdoor lighting. And then downstairs, because it's an enclosed room, you can see it has the indoor lighting. So then the lighting between downstairs and upstairs doesn't really match that well. But it's actually not that big of a deal because most of the time, you either don't see upstairs, or if you're upstairs, you're not really looking downstairs anyway. So it's not that big of a deal, but that's something to keep in mind. During the daytime, the lighting looks more different. At nighttime, they're more similar. So, I mean, that is what it is, I guess. Yeah, so this is where I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do a second loft area here over the other side. This will be like a home office where we can do like a little desk, a bookcase and all that. And it's really cool. So the cool thing is we didn't need to use the Murphy bed in this one, like, at all. I like the Murphy bed, though. I like it because it's new, but I mean, I guess practically speaking, the only time it is actually it actually makes sense to use it over any other bed is if you need a couch but you can't fit one in, and then you use the couch version. But the other version of the bed I don't think makes any sense. Anyway, this is where I kind of got stuck on the interior with the loft because I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I decided to come out front and start doing landscaping. And this turns into like a freaking florist or something. I don't know. There's just so many flowers. There's so much stuff going on. I figured because tiny homes get all those sort of benefits, although I guess tiny home tier 2 doesn't have every single benefit that a micro home does. Either way, I figured we'd sort of focus on, you know, some outdoor aspects. We're gonna have a lot of plants, a lot of flowers, a lot of gardening stuff. I did a little flower arranging table. We have this little front garden here. I don't know, I had a lot of fun sort of detailing and decorating this and just getting as much stuff in here as we could, because I wanted to get as many flowers and landscaping in as we could, but then also make the space as functional as we could. So it's not just something to look at. It is actually like a usable front garden. There's a lot of stuff that goes in this. I add even a few more things later on in the build as well. But right now, I think I add the flower arranging table, which I was going to do on an angle. Then I decided if we do it on a grid, and well, because if we did an angle, the terrain height kind of messed it up. We get a few little planter pots. Obviously, you could just plant directly in the grass, but I thought those looked nice. I was like sort of fitting kind of thing there. Got the outdoor bin. Don't worry, there is a bin. Be excited by that. And then we do a little gate here at the front. So, you know, if you had the Repo Man coming, you know, like my series where they always come, you could just lock everything off. So it's all enclosed. I really like the look of this place. And now it makes me want to play. I swear every tiny home that we're building here lately, I just want to live in them. I want to do like a whole Let's Play in every single one of these houses. But I mean, there's no reason to. But I mean, I want to live in all of these. And I'm so excited by them. They're so much fun to build. And then so now we've done, this is our second tiny home. Then we're going to move on to doing the small house. So that's a 100 tile home. So that will obviously be a bit bigger. So if you got any suggestions for those, leave them down below as well. I also kind of went crazy, as you can see here, just putting in whatever I could find. So there's a lot of like expansion pack content and stuff in this house. This is not by any means limited to certain packs. I kind of just used a little bit of everything. We got the bee box there. We got an easel so you can do some painting in the garden. We got the flower arranging table, like I said before, some rocks just around for decoration. And then, like I said later on, I add even more in here. So stay tuned for that. And then now we're up here in the loft area. I actually cut out a bunch of this. I spent ages trying to figure out how to do this area because I mean, ideally I wanted a bookcase that fits along the whole front wall that fits underneath the window, like in the bedroom where we have that side table. But obviously there's no bookcase that really fits that bill, so I just used this one. I could have used a little bookend, like the little bookends that we have now that are bookcases, but I figured this was fine too. Got the new little poof in there, we got that bookcase, and then we're doing a lot of plants inside as well. So just a lot of decoration, a lot of plants. It's really green. Whoever lives here has got a massive green thumb and they just love it all. They can't get enough. And they're very colorful and fun and lots of floral patterns and just there's color everywhere. But I guess because the build itself is so beige, like you can see, the problem I had, especially upstairs with the lighting, because the lighting is so bland upstairs during the day and the walls are all beige and the fence is beige and the floor is beige. I was like, okay, we need to get color somewhere here. And it's going to be through plants. It's going to be through the objects. That's how we're going to do it. Now, I couldn't change the walls upstairs because the walls upstairs aren't actually walls, they are roofs. And if we change those, the exterior changes as well, which we don't want to do. We want the exterior to look like it does. So that is why we have that sort of limitation up here. All of this is functional too, which I'm really excited about. I mean, right now that dresser isn't functional, but I think I'm testing it here and then I sort of move it around. The bed is functional. Apparently that plant actually blocked it though, which was interesting. I just rotated it and it was fine. So that was good. And then I just moved the dresser out a little bit and now the bed is fully functional. So you have this really nice loft up here with a bunch of stuff. I just did a bunch of plants and books. I did actually do a little TV up here. I mean, I can't sit in the bed and watch the TV, which really sucks, but I thought it was a nice little decorative kind of thing to do. I don't know why, because in Sims 2 they could do that, right? They could sit in the bed and watch TV. Because in Sims 4, I mean, I guess they can. Because they can sit on the bed, but they would sit and then face sideways, so it'd be kind of dumb. But they don't like lay down in the bed, you know, with their back up against the headboard like a normal person. So yeah, it doesn't really work that way. Yeah, so that cut there, I spent forever trying to figure out stuff to put in that little hallway upstairs in the loft. And I did eventually get stuff there, but I kept trying to put plants there, but she couldn't get past them. Ended up putting some canvas art there. But once we jump into the game at the end of this time lapse, I'll give you a full tour of everything so you can see it, because there might be some stuff that we miss out. Yeah, so I wanted to use these little bay window things, and surprisingly, I say surprisingly because I didn't actually expect these to work as well as they did with the, because usually if you do like an archway in Sims, they need enough room to get into the room and then use the item. If it's right up against the archway, it doesn't work. So thankfully, these little bay windows actually had enough room to be able to enter and then use the item in there. So I did a little keyboard because I figured, you know, this person or this family that lives here, because it is a family home, they're probably pretty creative and artsy as well. So, I mean, with all the colors, I was like, yeah, why not? So I did a keyboard in there. We got the easel outside, as you saw already. This is like the living room, or I guess living hallway, because it's kind of like between the main area and the kitchen. Oh, by the way, the stairs do not have a railing on it. That is intentional, because a couple of reasons. In a lot of tiny homes, they don't actually have it because, it just takes up a bunch of space and it makes the place feel a lot smaller. Now, I guess on the flip side of that, because this is a family home and I've designed it for a kid and a toddler, or I guess a teen and a toddler, it's incredibly unsafe. And I would not recommend doing that in reality, but it's The Sims, so it looks better. The second reason I did it was what I mentioned before about the lighting. Even if I use the exact same colored railing and fence as the fence we used upstairs, the stairs just, the color was completely different. It didn't match and it just looked really bad. So honestly, it just looks better without a railing. So that's why it's not there. And so if you're wondering, that's why. It just looked bad. And also tiny homes in real life don't often have it. I mean, depending on how big they are. But and I guess, well, on that point as well, they would either use shorter steps. So the steps would be steeper, or a ladder, or like spiral stairs, but we don't have any of those options, so we have to stick with these, which is a shame. And because the thing is, like, we have the configurable stairs, which you saw I played around with earlier, where we did like an L-shaped set of stairs. They look so cool. I love the look of them, but they do not save any space. The least amount of space we can possibly use is like the 1x3 that we're using now for the stairs. So that's what we're gonna leave it like that. Because yeah, in the last tiny house we did, that sort of modern one, we did the stairs going around like a sort of U shape, and that just used up a bunch of tiles that we didn't really need to, but it looked cool, so that's why we did it. Anyway, so this is the bedroom, the kids' bedroom, couple of beds, both usable. I did test them, so they're all good. We have a potty in here now. We actually have the toddler bed, because I know in a couple of the past builds I've said, oh, you could have a toddler here, and then people have been like, yeah, but you didn't do a toddler bed or a potty. But that was the point of the word could. Not that you like that it is. So anyway, so in this case, I was just like, all right, fine. If I'm gonna say you can have a toddler, I'll just do the stuff that you need, and then maybe people will be happy. And also, I did a computer because people keep asking me why I'm doing desks in here, and I do them anyway because why not? You don't need to, because you could use a laptop on a table anywhere, as everyone always points out. But I like a desk, and we have room, so you know, why not? And I did actually use the shower tub combo because people always ask why I don't use those. I've answered it in the past, but obviously not everyone watches every video. I just don't like them. I like them fine in real life. I've got no problem with them in real life. But in the game, I don't like them because they're just such a big item and they just block so much of your view, especially in smaller spaces, which is where you're typically going to use them more. And they just get in the way. That's honestly why I don't like them. It's the same kind of thing with mirrors. If you use a lot of mirrors and you go into live mode, they just stick up and they block stuff. Same with anything tall in the game, especially in small spaces. That's why I don't like them, because they just get in the way. I'm just trying to see stuff and they're just blocking it. So that's why. Anyway, I used it in this build because it made sense. We needed a bathtub anyway for the toddler, and you know, I was like, all right, fine, I'll use it. Kitchen is here, really, really simple. We actually have the fridge in that little bay window area, which I thought was really nice, fully functional, works no problem. And then we have only a 3-seater table, I will point out, no 4 seats. I was considering doing dining over in front of the bathroom because we have that little nook, but I'm like, well, I don't really want to waste space with a larger dining table. I mean, how often do Sims even dine together? Like maybe once every so often. Half the time you struggle trying to get them to do it and it never works out that way. So I was like, okay, I'll just do the 3. That'll be fine. I had to move the dishwasher so they could use that So, because I originally had it sort of behind the dining chair and it wouldn't work there. So that's why it's on the edge, but it's all functional. And I think that's pretty great. So everything works. I did move that plant on the counter. Sorry for the camera here, because I had to have the walls up to put stuff on the walls. And in small spaces, because the walls are up and we've got a roof next to us, that's why the camera keeps jumping up. But when you're actually playing it, you obviously don't need the walls up, so you can put them down. It's not really a problem. Or you can zoom out further, but trying to place stuff on the walls is a little difficult. But we've got a nice little coffee table there, a couple of magazines on it. And then I was kind of like, well, we can kind of do whatever we want now, because we've sort of used, well, we've placed everything that we need to. Everything is here. So it's like, at this point, we're kind of just adding extra stuff. So I just added a bicycle out the front, and I figured in this corner, we just do a little chess table. Why not? I mean, obviously, change it to whatever you actually want to put there. If you don't want that, that's fine. But I figured, let's do that. It's a nice little piece. Because again, artsy and creative. I mean, a chess table is not really either of those, but I mean this particular one, because it's like the slice of the slice of a tree. It's like a log. It's like well, it's a piece of wood, natural piece of wood, a natural piece of timber. It looks kind of nice. I kind of like that. I finally used that new lamp that came in Tiny Living, which I haven't been able to use. Also, you guys said that it was like a shelf, and the description says that, but it doesn't work as a shelf, so I don't know. Anyway, because I remember when I first did my build by overview, I said this lamp makes no sense because it's so big, and then the counter argument to that was that it was a shelf, but it doesn't seem to be a shelf at all or function that way at all. So I don't know. It's just huge, and it doesn't really make sense in Tiny Living. Obviously, it matches the style, but it's giant. I also wanted to do a laundry because I thought that'd be fun. I love playing with laundry. It's so much fun. It's a fun little gameplay element that just adds on to it. So I did this little 1x1 laundry thing here. I didn't put it in a separate room because I think they wouldn't be able to get to it. But I used a column and some curtains to kind of hide it, which I thought was fun. And it's functional, tested it all. I did the clothesline there in the middle of the front garden. We did the colorful post box off to the side, a couple of little lights in the garden as well. And I really like this place. And I figured we have this little nook here as well. I'd do a little doll house there for the kids so they can play around with that. I was trying to find a way to put the hamper. In the end, it just went in front of the doll house. Also did a rug there because if you're kneeling down on the floor, the floorboards might be a little uncomfortable. And that is pretty much the build. Just doing a little bit of landscaping outside, some more flowers, because this side of the house looked pretty blank. I didn't do any trees on this side because I figured, same reason I said before, I didn't want tall things blocking my view. I hate that in the game. So I kept this side free. The other side has the trees. So then, so it looks good in that way. But anyway, let's jump into the game and I'll give you a full tour in game. All right, so here we are in the game. I love the front of it. Look at this. I love this. I love this so much. It's just filled with flowers and with life. And there's like some broken down old ute out the side there. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool putting that there. So bicycle at the front. I guess we'll just do a little tour. We got the bicycle. This is the front yard. We got the washing line there, which you don't really need to use because we do have the dryer inside. Got the easel, the bee box, the bin, the flower arranging table, a few little planters there. And then we go into the house. So I didn't know what to do. The reason I actually did all the vines over the front was because of the windows. And what I was mentioning before about this game is that there's no windows that we could put here on this angle. So you always end up with either boxy windows, or in this case, I did like this sort of curved one up top. But even still, you end up with a big blank space. It's kind of like here at the back. I didn't do it at the back because I thought that might be too much. But yeah, it just you can see that I think it looks way better with this on the front, like having all the vines there. I think that looks so much nicer. And because I used modern windows and a modern door, that also kind of contrasted the look and the feel of the place massively. So I think I kind of offset that by doing all the flowers and all that stuff around it, the vines. It kind of brings it down a bit and doesn't make it feel as contemporary, which I'm quite happy about. And then I love here on the side that you can sort of see through. You got these big windows here, the little keyboard in there, and you can sort of see through into the house. I thought this is cool. I thought that was really, really cool. But yeah, let's we'll not do a first person tour because I think it might be a little bit cramped. But yeah, if we come in here, we can see we have the little play area there, the laundry, the bathroom is in here. Oh yeah, I didn't mention this. I put this little rug here because I felt like this was the kind of house where you'd have those shag rugs around the toilet. I guess I could have actually done it like around the toilet like that. And I really wanted this to be pink, but there's not really pink. The red seemed too much. I did that. I thought it was kind of funny, but it could also be like a shower mat, but that's why I put that there. A lot of colors in there. Then over here, we got the little corner there with the chess table, the living room in there. There's that keyboard again. And then, yeah, we didn't really get a super good look at this in the build video, but underneath the stairs is sort of where the TV is, along with a little toy box for the kids so we can get a bunch of stuff out of there. And then over this way is the kitchen, which at first glance, you're like, oh my God, where's the fridge? But obviously you know because you watched the video, it's just in there. Oh, look at this. Isn't that nice? It looks kind of weird looking out the window and seeing those buildings. I feel like it doesn't really suit what's out that window there. Yeah, so that's that. And then if we go in here, that's the kids' room. We got the cloud ceiling light, which I thought was kind of funny. And we got the toddler bed, the potty. We have the Wabbit tablet. Oh, that is actually what it's called. You know what? I was just kind of making that up because I couldn't remember what it was called. But it is the Wabbit tablet. And then I did another little desk. I was tempted to do a computer because I know how you guys love me doing desks and computers in tiny homes. But I just did the journal instead. That's fully functional. It might not look like it is, but it is. That totally works. No problems. And then we go upstairs to the loft, which make sure you put the walls down. Otherwise, you won't be able to see anything. So this is the loft. You come up here. That's the double bed. And we have, if we jump into this view, if you, yeah, you can actually just go through the roof here. Because right now the walls are actually in cutaway mode. And it actually puts the roof up, but it means you can just sort of go through the roof and you can see in fine, which is kind of cool. So we have the double bed there, fully functional, dresser, TV. We come around this way. Yeah, so this is what I ended up putting along this little hallway because the hallway looked really blank and bland. It was kind of sad. And I tried to put potted plants down there, but the sim couldn't get past it. But for whatever reason, they have no issue getting past all these canvas arts. I guess because they're technically a wall decoration, so there's maybe no footprint on the ground. Anyway, so they can get past all that, and then this is where the little office is. It's on this side of the loft. You can come around here. There's a bookcase here as well, but you can sit here on the computer. It works perfectly fine. You can look back over that way. You can also look downstairs to the living space, and that is the little A-frame tiny home, which is a tier 2. So you get the skill increases, you get the cozy comforts, lightening the load of less bills, and feeling fine. No plant benefits, though, so, I mean, work hard, because this is all you got. But yeah, that is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little tiny home. I really like this one. This one is really, really nice. I think this one and the trailer build that we did at the very start of the Tiny Living Stuff Pack release are my favorites so far. Let me know in the comments down below. We're going to be coming back and doing a small home next. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time, and have an awesome day.